This is our second Canucks talk, and this is the only Canucks talk on YouTube. So make sure if you're a Canucks fan, you're watching because it is going to be nice and it's going to be fun. And so we're going to be talking about um, the end of the off season, how it ended, the preseason, and how the season has started for the Canucks. And in the last one, we did talk about the off season, and they made some interesting moves, but they even made some more moves, starting with Cracknell, Adam Cracknell. I believe he was supposed to be a winger, and he played with St. Louis last year. And I mean, he was a good signing. I was honestly expecting him to be like a 13th forward, maybe a 14th forward, maybe even not even make the team. But he was like fourth line center now, and I'm just like, what the heck? Where'd he come from? Ugh. But yeah, I mean, he's not like a super stud 24-year-old prospect or something like that. He's like 20. I don't even have any stats for what he looks like right now, but I'm pretty sure he's either 27 or 30. Big gap, but somewhere around there. Anyways, I say anyways so much. If you guys watch my other videos, you'll realize I say anyways so much. It's so unnecessary. But so the next thing we're going to be talking about, aside from Cracknell, there wasn't really any other signings that the Canucks made. Maybe some minor signings, but not really anything that big. And I'm not saying Cracknell's that big. I'm just saying it's bigger than other things, other players. But the youngsters did look good in the preseason. Some examples were Horvat. He was on the team last year, and he's still looking good. Barchese, he was, or Barchi, Sven Barchi, he did had a good preseason with Virtanen. That line was really interesting. I'd like to see it, but looks like the Canucks haven't quite used it during the season. And McCann. So Jared McCann had a very good preseason, and through that good preseason, the guys who deserved it, they made it. I was kind of surprised that Frank Corrado was put on waivers, but he didn't earn it. I didn't see him doing that well in the preseason, but you know what? Ben Hutton did, and I had never heard of I heard of him, but I had never like seen him play or anything till just this preseason, and I didn't think he was that big of a prospect, but by the looks of it, he's physical in the corners. I mean, he's 6'3", like he's tall, but like he has the offensive mindset. Like he does it. He makes the plays. Also, some other guys that didn't make it were Linden Vey and Crotto at the same time. I was kind of disappointed that Crotto was picked up by Toronto, and I mean, his potential, like I would say, it's not that high. It's not like he's gonna be like a top two elite defenseman or anything. I mean, obviously anybody can, but if they put their mind to it and they work hard enough. But I mean, Corrado, he just seemed like a guy like he came in a couple years ago just as in the playoffs, and he seemed pretty good. But I mean, now he's sort of, I guess he dropped off a bit. I don't know, but I mean, he didn't make the team, so he had to be put on waivers, and that ended with Toronto picking him up. Vey did not get picked up. I mean, Vey and some other guys, like there's so many guys we got last year, and like Barchi, we got both those guys last year. Obviously, Barchi made the team, but I mean, Barchi's not even so far. Like, I'll talk about that later about Barchi. But so far the Canucks look really good. I mean, I was still surprised that Virtanen, McCann, and Hutton all made the team. But I mean, they did deserve it. So I mean, that's why they made it. You deserve, like, the preseason can mean big things. That's like Corrado should have been on the team, but he didn't. He didn't work hard enough. So, but anyways, the Canucks do look very good so far. The first 5 games, they're 3-1-1, and obviously, it's kind of disappointing. They almost beat St. Louis a couple of nights ago, but it's unfortunate. But a fun fact for you guys, if they did beat St. Louis the other day on Friday, I believe, they would have had the best season start in franchise history, and that would have been kind of insane. It's like the Canucks, after all the projections, like so many people are putting them like at the bottom of the division, and obviously they could, and it is really early. But I mean, I'm surprised that like they're doing so well. But I mean, it's just the first 5 games, so whatever. Where's Verbata? That's my question to you guys. In 5 games, no goals, or just in general points, and he's a -3. That's not very good for Radim Barbata, a guy that you signed for like 3 years at 5 mil or something. Like it's not. He's not doing as well as he could. I'm not saying he's doing horrible. I mean, he's played season. He's played. I mean, he's played okay, I guess. But I mean, and it is early, but he isn't looking as good as he could be. Should he play with the Sedines? I would think so, just because a lot of, like, even in me and AJ and Travis and all those guys, and Nathan, we all made a pool, a 4 people pool, just the 4 of us, and Verbata, I forget who drafted him. I think it was AJ. AJ drafted him later on, and it was like his projection was like 70 to 50 points or something. And the reason it's like so low at some points is because he may not play with the Sedines. And even if he does play with the Sedines, that's still a lot of work for a 33-year-old winger. But I mean, I still think he'll have a good season. I hope he does. Should he play with the Sedines? Yeah, I'd say they should move him back up and see how that works again. Barchi, now I'll go back to that. In last year's trade, him for a second round pick, is that trade still good? Would you guys, if you knew exactly how he was going to be through this year, like how at this point you know how good he's doing and how the end of season he was in the AHL, and also like in general, would you still make that trade? That's my question. Another question for you guys. I mean, I'm not saying he's played bad, but I mean, and he still could be something really good, even because he was like a former first round pick, right? He was like top, I think it was like number 13 or top 10, somewhere in there. But I mean, where was he the other day against St. Louis? Probably in the press box, because like he just hadn't been playing the greatest. And I mean, I don't want to see him there, because he's a young guy and you want to keep your young guys playing, because you can't just keep Virtanen scratch for the entire year. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, Virtanen played, but I mean, a lot of guys that you want to do better, but a lot of guys who are doing really well. There are Cracknell. I think Hansen's been doing pretty solid, getting a couple points. Hutton, obviously, but I mean, it's not like he's been insane, but yeah. I mean, otherwise, I do like the season, how it's gone so far. But this is my main question for you guys. If you don't want to answer any questions, please just answer this one. It's really early, obviously, and there's only been 5 games. But are the Canucks having? Do they have beginner's luck right now? Are they fakers, or are they actually for real? And do they have something going? Can they be competitive enough in their conference, even in their division? Like even Arizona and San Jose, obviously those teams could drop off. I think San Jose will do fine, but like even the Arizona Coyotes, are they going to be able to keep up? Are Anaheim and LA going to be able to bring it back up? Because I mean, AJ, you're in big trouble. You got on your team Rask and Quick. And right now they're not doing too well, those two teams. I don't think anybody got Bobrovsky, but if they did, then they're in big trouble, because I mean, apparently Columbus is supposed to make a trade. I'm just talking a bit about the general NHL, but yeah, are the Canucks going to be able to keep it up this year? That's the question. And I don't know. I personally would like to see them do well again, but I mean, if not, I hope they don't do super, like, I hope they don't just make the playoffs, like, or just miss the playoffs, sorry. And I also hope that if they have a really good year, like another 100-point year or something, that they don't get taken out in the first round. At least a second round appearance. Either second round appearance or bad year. That's what I'm expecting, like really bad year, so they can get a good player. But I mean, I like to see them be competitive, and I like what Jim Benning's doing and all that. So anyways, guys, it was a much shorter one, and I'm sorry it was a bit later, but I also figured that it might be better if I waited till like there'd been a couple games in the season. And I mean, the Canucks are doing well, but then again, it's early. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys with our next edition of our Canucks Talk.